So much. Hello, everyone. My name's Brittany. I'm an admissions counselor at the University of Alaska Southeast, and I'm really excited to talk at this science-focused event because our marine biology, and environmental science programs are our signature programs. So I actually did attend the University of Alaska Southeast here in Juneau. I was an English major though, so I wasn't, we have lots of great programs, but really what really specifically pull students from all over the country and even exchange students from all over the world are our science programs. So I'm really excited to talk to people who are really interested in those specific programs. And I can take questions as I go. I'll try to see them as we go. But yeah, I think a lot of you might be from California. And if that's the case, that's great. I work with all of the WUI students. So I don't know if people can drop things into the chat themselves, but if you are maybe from California, let me know if you do or do not know what WUI is, because I can go over that a little bit deeper. But basically, the University of Alaska Southeast offers 1.5 times in-state tuition for our students coming from California, Oregon, Washington, basically everywhere that's like left of the Dakotas. So yeah, it's a really great deal. Normally out-of-state tuition is quite expensive, but you would be paying like in between in-state and out-of-state. So 1.5 times in-state tuition. But I'll get started on my presentation so that we can see some beautiful pictures of Alaska. I don't know if anyone here has been to Alaska, but if you haven't, we are located in Juneau. So this is at the Mendenhall Glacier here in this picture. My contact information is also on this slide, so feel free to jot that down. It'll pop up at the end. But again, I am the admissions counselor for basically anyone who's coming from most of out of state. So, and never a wrong door at UAS. So yeah, let's get started. So if you haven't been to Alaska before, and it is actually kind of hard for me to see the chat when I'm in this like screen sharing mode. So I'll try to keep an eye on that. But here we are in Alaska. If you haven't been, UAS is actually down here in Juneau, our main campus with our dorms and our student gym and all of the classic things you're thinking about for a college campus are here in Juneau. We also have campuses in Sitka and Ketchikan that are known for their great, now I can see the chat, here we go, that are also known for a couple of programs, but those science programs are gonna be based out of the Juneau campus. And if you haven't been to Alaska, Alaska is huge. Obviously we're the biggest state, and all these stars are our major cities. So Juneau is the capital city, Anchorage is the largest city, and then Fairbanks is biggest city that's far north. And there are universities at all 3 of these. So these are highlighting our major cities and our major universities. They're all known for different things. Fairbanks has an amazing engineering program. Anchorage has our nursing program for the state, and Juneau is really all about the natural sciences. Fairbanks has a master's program actually based in Juneau and fisheries, and you'll probably see why, but yeah, I'll let you guys guess as we go. But yeah, even just looking at this picture, that's kind of the background of the slide. You can tell that Juneau is very, well, maybe you can't tell because you're not seeing pictures of Fairbanks and Anchorage, but Juneau is very different than the rest of Alaska. It's very densely forested. We're in the Tongass National Forest, which is a temperate rainforest. So we're in the rainforest part of Alaska, way down south. So we do not get the really cold temperatures. We get snow, but it's not like Anchorage and Fairbanks. I'm from a town that's a little bit north of Anchorage, and my growing up with -30-degree winters, I like living in Juneau now. So it's actually only a 2.5-hour flight away from Seattle. So if you're thinking of, Alaska, the far north, frigid, freezing, not quite the case in Juneau, but it will still be cold for you if you're from California, but it's not, -60 or -30 like in Anchorage and Fairbanks. So very densely forested. You can even see here, you're getting a peek at the water because we are on the ocean, which I will get into. That really makes our programs special. So I'm just going to check this chat real quick, make sure I didn't miss something. Oh, thank you for dropping that in there. Oh, actually, this is perfect. Someone asked if we offer a master's degree. We are an undergraduate institution for the sciences, but like I said, Fairbanks, University of Alaska Fairbanks is based and has a master's in fisheries based in Juneau because of our location is amazing here. So obviously if you look up at Fairbanks, they're in the middle of the state. There's some rivers, there's no ocean though. So yeah, Juneau is the place to be for that kind of stuff. Definitely look up their master's program. So what's Juneau like? We get that question a lot. I used to do the college fairs pre-COVID times down in call it the lower 48, but I used to go to the Pacific Northwest. So I get this question a lot. What's Juneau like? What's Alaska like? Because again, people think Alaska is one thing and we're pretty different than what people imagine. So UAS is very small. Of the 3 UA campuses, UAS is the smallest of the 3 campuses besides the community campuses that we have. We have 2,500 students, and that's again spread out over those 3 campuses. That includes our online students. So you're talking about a really small campus. So if you, I don't know if anyone here has been to college fairs before or started exploring colleges yet, but usually after going to those that the average class size and student to faculty ratio, the lower the better, because that means you're actually interacting with professors and they actually get to know you, which is 100% the case at UAS. So you can see our student to faculty ratio is really small, and so is our average class size. And again, I have pictures, we'll see some more, but this makes a lot of sense when you're talking about field-based coursework, because even if you were in our wet labs and you're imagining how many people can fit in there, you don't want more than 15 or 20 people in a class at UAS, because you're doing some pretty intense things. And in our wet lab, there's not it's not room for like a class of 50 like you might find at a bigger university. Like I already said, we're located in the Tongass National Forest, and we're 6 miles from trails to the Mendenhall Glacier. So Juneau is this, if you look at a map, Juneau is this really interesting slice of city in between the mountains and the ocean. And on the mountainside, we're just at the brink of like this massive ice field, which is funny because I said it doesn't get very cold here, right? Because we're next to the ocean, very temperate, but we are next to this massive ice field. It goes to Canada, lots of cool opportunities with that. So whether you're interested in studying the environment, so like the rainforest, the lakes, the glacier, or you're interested in studying the water and what lives in the water, Juneau is literally perfect for it. So you have direct access to Auk Lake and Auk Bay. I think I have a better picture I can show you guys later, but we're built right on a lake. I'm looking out of my office window right now and I'm looking at a lake. It's beautiful. It's called Auk Lake, and then Auk Bay is where our science building is built, which I'll also show you a picture of. This picture of the students with the nets, that's right outside of our science building. So we're built right on the water. We can pump in the water from the ocean, which runs our wet labs, which is really cool because a lot of universities have wet labs, but they might be a couple hours from the ocean, or they might be a couple hours from their labs. But that's not the case in Juneau because we are right here. So really cool. Our big highlights of our program is field study and research in intertidal marine environments and on the Juneau ice field, like I mentioned. So you can see some of these cool pictures from all of our students doing really cool, amazing coursework, which I will also get into on the next slide. So I'm gonna pause, actually no, it's on the slide after this, but this is our science building. This is the Anderson Science Building. Hopefully you can see my mouse. And this is the ocean. So literally it's built right on there. The students, and in your classes, you'll go out and the tide will come up and you'll go out tide pooling. You will look at hermit crabs. You do a lot of coursework because we're right outside there. So, and again, we have the wet labs in the bottom part of the building. We pump in the water from the ocean. It helps us keep little critters alive so that you can, when you study invertebrate zoology, you have invertebrates to study. You can go down to the wet lab and learn about them, pick them up, see them. I'm gonna check the chat real quick and then I'll get into these degree options. Assistantship opportunities. Yes, I'll get into that on the next slide. All right, so our degree options, I've already mentioned a few of them, but we have our Bachelor of Science in Marine Biology. We were ranked number 8 in the US for marine biology, so pretty cool because we're so small. Being ranked nationally is kind of a big deal because, again, we're really small. We have a Bachelor in Science and a Bachelor of Arts in Biology. So whether you were going on, maybe you wanted to teach biology or you want to do a Bachelor of Science in Biology, both options for those. We have a Bachelor of Science in Environmental Science. We have a Bachelor of Science in Fisheries and Ocean Science, a Bachelor of Science in Environmental Resources. So environmental science and environmental resources, they're a little different, but a lot of the same coursework, all of the same awesome access to everything we're surrounded by. And then a Bachelor of Arts in Environmental Studies. And that one is really cool. It actually has a emphasis area and outdoor studies that you can do too. So besides all the science heavy programs, another thing that really draws people to Juneau is the outdoor recreation opportunities. So whether it's sea kayaking or skiing or backpacking or mountaineering, those classes are also really popular. We do have a full 4-year degree program just in that. But if you want to take those classes and add it on to environmental studies, that's a really good idea. And I'll show you a student story later that kind of explains why. But you can do that kind of program alongside your super science specific classes. So these are just some cool pictures. Like I said, here's our Anderson Science Building. Next to the science building, you can't see it in the picture, but you can see it down here. There's a weir. We have a fisheries weir. So we track the salmon populations as they're coming back to spawn. They're keeping, they've been tracking data on that for a long time now. I was just down at the weir the other day, but I actually don't remember how long we've been tracking the data, but they are, they're trying to learn about the salmon and what the salmon have to do on what the natural environment has, what the effects are on the salmon. So they're studying when the salmon come back and how many of them come back at once. So they're finding that they're coming back earlier and more of them are coming at once. So I think it's kind of interesting. And then there's a picture from the sea kayaking class, which there's a really cool class called, kayak oceanography. It's a summer class, so if you ever stay over the summer and you want to take the class, they kayak all around the areas of Juneau, kayak all around, and they take water samples, and they are following up on research that past students have done. So taking the samples, and there was even like government students in the class because they were doing the class combined with like environmental policy. So kayak oceanography, if you never thought you could study science and go kayaking, well, you can. And one of my student workers actually was in this class, and they saw tons of sea creatures, obviously, but like whales live here. So she actually told a pretty scary story about how her kayak almost got tipped over by a humpback whale, which is not really my jam. I'd rather be reading in the library, but if you want to kayak with whales, totally great for you. But yes, really cool. All right, so someone asked about assistantships, which is perfect because now I'm just going to touch a little bit on one of the big building blocks of our programs is field-based coursework and undergraduate research. So again, if you're a graduate student, really look into Fairbanks. That's the campus that has the graduate program and the graduate assistantships, if that's what you're talking about. But for anyone who does not already have a bachelor's degree, so if you're a high schooler or you haven't gone to college yet, I'm talking to you here. Undergraduate research is a really big part of our program. You can get a paid research position, you can get an internship, you can I help out in their lab. I think there are unpaid positions as well, but I usually hear about students who are getting paid for it. We have great funding. There's a really great, it's a grant, the Undergraduate Research and Creative Activities grant. And if you get that, and your professors would be helping you apply, you get that, then you design your own project and you have a mentor with you, one of our faculty members, one of your professors to help you. And that's like that's a really cool opportunity. I know multiple students that have gotten it, and it's every year students get it. So, you can always apply for it. But the field-based coursework is really cool because even besides all the extra things, so if you don't want a research job or you're not there yet, your classes are still going to get you outside and you're going to be working really hands-on in your field. Our professors, you're going to be taught by professors. That's a really key thing, is that we, maybe at bigger schools, your classes might be taught by graduate students. They might not be people with PhDs in the field, but not at UAS. You're going to be taught by your professors who are experts and really knowledgeable. They're doing their own ongoing research. And once they know you from your small field-based classes, they know you and what you're interested in and your work, they can include you on those projects. And that's how it happens at UAS. So I know a lot of universities, it's extremely competitive or really hard to get into these kinds of things, but it's not at UAS. So the small class sizes and the connection to your professors really work in your advantage, which again, if you're in the sciences and you want those kind of experiences, I really encourage you to look at programs that are smaller and taught by faculty members like UAS. So field-based coursework, amazing. You're going to be out in the field, whether you're going to the glacier or to the lake or out into the ocean looking and, I don't know, going tide pooling or I actually don't know what they're doing with these nets, but I do know this is one of our professors of biology. This is Dave Tallman, and this is a student, and maybe they are dragging and getting fish. I don't know. But yeah, and again, undergraduate research. Again, if you show at UAS, it's not super competitive to get in on research, but if you show the interest and the drive and you go for it, you can definitely get a research position. I was an English major and I had some experience doing research as well. Not the kind of, where I'm not out in waders with the net, but I still was able to do research with a really great faculty member that is still I'm applying to grad schools right now, and that experience has really been formative and really helped me get some great experience for going to grad school. So again, field-based coursework, undergraduate research, 2 key components of our undergraduate program. You're not competing with graduate students for these positions that I'm talking about. We don't have graduate students. Again, you're being taught by professors, you're being included by them, and you're not competing for these positions with students who are in graduate school. So really great opportunity. I wanted to show a picture of campus because I've been talking about our location, and here is the ocean that we were just seeing another picture of. So that's Auk Bay. You can see the harbor. There's harbor seals and sea lions that hang out there, and jellyfish, things like that. But this is the Auk Bay. And then the science building that we were looking at, you can't see it in this picture, but it's kind of behind these trees. So it's over here. So we were looking, out from that way. But here's campus. We're like a 5-minute walk up from the harbor, maybe 10 minutes from the science building over here. On this side, on the bottom, it's cut off from the picture, but these buildings here, I'm actually sitting in this building right now. On the bottom of that, oops, not bottom, yeah, the bottom of the screen, this side, we're built on a lake. So we're, again, between the bay and the lake. It's really beautiful. This is our campus. It's pretty small. The only things you don't see in this picture are like the student gym, the upper class housing, and again, that science building that we did see a picture of. But here's the John Pugh Hall. That's where all the freshmen live. So if you are thinking like, where would I live on campus? If you're a freshman, you live here. This is our Egan library. Libraries are on this side. And all your classes that aren't science classes are here. So pretty quick. This is literally a 30-second walk. This is the cafeteria, and also where you'd find a lot of resources as a student. So career services, which would be great for getting internships, counselors, disabilities, academic advisors. You could find financial aid, student accounts, the registrar's office over here, and then you would find some of your other professors over here. So in college, you have something that's called office hours, and the professor that you might have a class with at UAS, yeah, they're really nice. They probably will stay after class and talk to you, but they also might tell you to come to office hours. So that's when you go and you ask her questions about the homework or the essay or whatever. So anyone who is maybe a history professor or English or math even might be over here. But if you're asking questions to your science professors, they're going to be over in the science building like we talked about. So all the science classes and science professors are over in the science building. It's, yeah, a beautiful view. So if you're, if you have to go to lab in the afternoon in the winter, it's not bad. The sun sets over the bay. So even as an English major, I had to take a lab science class. And even though I was really having a hard time with it, I was like, well, at least I get to watch a beautiful sunset every day. But yeah, so this is campus. There is a shuttle that runs. It could take you everywhere. But as a freshman, all you need to know is here's where you live. Here's where you'd go to a lot of classes and study. Here's where you'd eat. And then the science building is where you'd spend some time too. So I'm going to check the chat real quick, make sure there is not. Okay. Oh, wow. Yeah. All right. There's a lot. So I will definitely get to these at the end. And I think I'm actually going to answer some of these as we go because I have a couple more slides to show you. So did not mean to go backwards. Let's go. This is just a quick preview of the dorm. It's a really nice dorm. It's really big. So you've got, it's built for 2 people. There's actually 2 rooms of 2 people. This bottom picture is the best. You can see one picture here and you can see one room here. And then this is the door jamb to another room. So 2 rooms of 2 people. They're really big. You have your own private bathroom for the 4 of you. We don't do community bathrooms here. And then the full-size fridge and microwave come with the unit, so you don't have to worry about bringing that kind of stuff all the way to Alaska. It's already here. Some more pictures of the dorm. There's a kitchen. There's a big hangout area. Again, really nice and really new. This was built, I think it its first fall that was open was 2014. So still relatively new. It's still in really great condition and right on main campus. So you really are not going to get lost. And yeah. One thing I wanted to talk about, I know Alaska is already an adventure to a lot of people. A lot of people don't, maybe Alaska is far enough for them, or that's the biggest adventure they want in college, which is totally fine. But if you are thinking about other things, and I encourage you to, there are study away opportunities. You can go for 1 full year nationally and 1 full year internationally, or go by semester. I know an environmental science student who's actually from Anchorage, and she did a semester in Hawaii, and then she did a semester in Finland. So she did like tropical ecology, biology, and then went to Finland and did like literally in January, like Arctic things. So you can really mix it up. This is Kylie. I know Kylie from just being an admissions counselor, and she this last fall was in the Virgin Islands. She's a marine biology major. So she actually helped out some grad students with tagging sea turtles, like a very random opportunity that she had because she was there. And yeah, she spent a semester there. She got to do more tropical ecology, tropical marine biology, which is definitely a different experience than we have in Alaska. So if you are looking to broaden and widen and maybe explore a new part of marine biology, then definitely look into studying away. And again, you can go for a semester, you can go for a year, you can even go for a summer program. So it can really work with a lot of different degree programs. And our study away coordinator can help you find the right program for you and your studies and your budget. I studied away as a student at UAS. The best part is that you can keep paying UAS or pay in-state tuition at whatever school you want to go to. So there's kind of options there. But yeah, so if you are paying UAS and you can afford to go to UAS, and you can afford to leave as well, which is really good news for me because I did not have a ton of money to go to college in the first place, but I did have scholarships that helped me pay UAS. So I was able to use those scholarships to study away. I studied in Germany for a year. Again, I was an English major, so I wasn't really trying to do anything specific with the sciences and find those different environments to study in. But just know that it's a really awesome opportunity for all of our students, no matter your major. So besides specific study away programs, I really wanted to highlight some other cool classes that our students are doing that get them out of Juneau or get them in a new place to study their same field. So this summer we have marine vertebrate field research and conservation. One of our professors is really into marine mammals. She does work with, I think it's porpoises, or I think it's dolphins. Usually she does that kind of stuff, and so she's more usually based, I think, out of New Zealand. But this summer she's taking students to Portugal, so the south coast of Portugal, and you can look at the description. They're gonna go on boats, look for marine mammals, sea turtles, seabirds, and large fishes. Students will be guided through various aspects of marine vertebrate fieldwork. So really hands-on experiences in Portugal. I'm really excited for these students. And I know a freshman that's going to take this class. So this is really cool. I know she had some credits already, but I'm really excited for her. So that's one example of, even if you're not on exchange and you're in the marine biology program, we have professors that can take you on a field trip, a field experience. And actually the same professor usually also goes to Puerto Rico. So it's cool that they're doing Portugal this year. In environmental science, there's actually 2 different options for our students this year, and they're pretty different. So I'm curious I don't know if people can drop in the chat, but I think I know which one I would pick. But the field studies and environmental science class this year, this is spring break right now for us. So our students are gone, probably on these trips right now or about to leave. So one is the field course on the geology of Death Valley National Park. You can look at, they're going to practice mapping, rock and mineral identification, and interpretations of geological environments. They're going to travel to Nevada and California over spring break. Oh, that's right now. Yep. So they're gone. They're going to camp for a week. That sounds awesome. I would be doing that. You could definitely find me in Nevada or California camping for a week if I was an environmental science major. But the other option, and this is also very cool, the other field course is on the behavior of the Taku Glacier. And they are going to camp on the glacier, backcountry camping, which it'll be really cool too. I have been on the glacier multiple times. I have my own ice climbing gear, so I don't know if I, need to go spend a week doing that. But if you have never been on a glacier before and you want to study glaciers and like their movements and their habitats, this would be an amazing class. So they're going to spend a week on the glacier. So these are some really cool classes that you don't even have to sign up for a study away program for. These are just run by our professors. So yeah. Some tips and highlights. This is a student actually from my hometown, Eva. She did the Bachelor of Science in Geography and Environmental Resources, and this program is really cool. It turned into what is now that environmental science, the program. There's 3 different options now. This is the before that. But I did talk about, outdoor studies, and she did her Bachelor of Science in Environmental Resources with outdoor studies. And she said that taking these classes where she's like skiing the ice field, learning about how to be out in the backcountry safely, how to be in the wild environment and be safe. As a researcher, as a scientist, that's really important. So that's why she added those kind of classes onto her degree. Plus they're super fun. Who doesn't want to go backpacking for a class, right? So I wanted to show you some of her advice and her pictures. This was she did 2 summer internships in different parts of Alaska. This is, someone just walked outside my window, scary. She's measuring a little tiny fish in this one. I don't know if you can see it, but she was taking water samples, measuring little fish. So yeah, that's Eva. If you are a senior, it's actually not too late to apply for admission. So we have a really late we have an open enrollment, very late admission scenario. So you can apply for admission, you can still turn in your transcript, you could still get admitted, and then registration will actually open in early April. So if you are on the ball and you want to sign up for classes in April and map out your whole fall at UAS, then you can do that. But if that's not you and you're like you're still applying and you're a little bit slower, that's okay. You can get admitted and register for classes all summer as well. So definitely take your time. And if you're a junior, then this same timeline applies to you, but next year. Our applications for admission will open usually around September 1st for seniors the next year. So if you I think I'm almost right at time, and then I can take these questions and go back to them. But the next steps, if anything was interesting to you or you want to learn any more about UAS, you can visit our website, uas.alaska.edu. You can schedule a virtual or in-person tour. You can do that on our website. You can do that by emailing me. I also schedule our tours. I wear many hats here. You can talk with counselors like myself, advisors. You can talk with an admissions representative, again, like myself, or a current student. If you want to hear, we have a lot of students from California, actually. So if you want to hear about marine biology or what these programs are like for someone who doesn't live in Alaska, like what was it like to move to Alaska from California? Definitely just email me and I'll connect you to a student. We have a student named Michaela. She's like a YouTuber. She has Instagram. She's marine biology Michaela. So if you even like want to Google or search her in Instagram or YouTube, you will find her and you will probably learn about a lot about UAS that way as well. So current students are an amazing resource. You can find our social media. UAS admissions is everything new student wise. So updates, events, anything you want to know about being a new student, getting admitted, those kind of things. And that's the one that I personally run. And then our big account, I would definitely recommend following this too, is UA Southeast. So that's going to be lots of cool student stories, lots of great pictures. Hopefully we can get some pictures from the students that are in Death Valley, and hopefully maybe the Glacier and the Portugal students too, when they go on their trips. So if you're a senior, because you listened to me talk for so long, you can actually apply for free. You can use our code GOWHALES22 to waive your application fee. Usually it's $50, but you can apply for admission for free if you use that code. So I'd love to see your application if you're still a senior. All right, I'm gonna get to the questions now. I'm gonna pause and get to those. All right. What was the name of the last program you mentioned? It was probably, let me make sure. Okay, it was probably the one about Eva. I don't know why my thing won't let me go back. If it was the one about Eva, it was the environmental resources. So, and that's the one. Oh yeah, and she incorporated the outdoor studies program. So it's called Outdoor and Adventure Studies. If you are applying on our website through our online application, you'll see you can choose environmental studies as a major when you apply, and you can do a concentration in or an emphasis area in outdoor studies. So that's how you combine them. But environmental resources was probably the one I was talking about. I see a question, what are the classes I should take at middle school and or high school to advance as marine biologists? The big thing that I suggest in high school, middle school, you're good. In high school, you should take 4 years of math. So if you are looking at a science program, take all 4 years of math. Take AP biology if you can, or IB biology if that's offered. Those are what our advisors really look at for, are you prepared to do college level coursework in these? One of the first things, no matter what college you really go to, one of the first things you'll do is take placement tests, which are not scary, but they're just trying to figure out which classes you start in. And those classes are the building blocks for the whole rest of your time. So if you start in a lower math class, it's going to take you longer. So they are trying to get students to test into the right math class that will get you done in 4 years in the sequence. So take all 4 years of high school math. Maybe that's not what you wanted to hear, but that is my advice. All right. What are some experiences that your undergraduates get to experience? Yeah, the field-based coursework. I know we talked about that a lot already, but getting out in the field, UAS and Juneau as a place is very outdoorsy and very hands-on learning. So those are the big piece of experience that our undergraduates get. And they do our research. We are not doing that with graduate students. So undergraduates, you get like the full attention and the full experience from our professors. We are a test optional school. You don't have to send your ACT or SAT scores unless you want to. They're not required for admission. You can still send them in for scholarships though. Are there abroad programs? Yes, we already talked about that. So I'll move on. We know that there are multiple study abroad programs and even just classes that go abroad. So we answered that. Are there things I can do as a high school student that would make me a better candidate? Oh, okay, we kind of talked about this too. But yes, 4 years of math and honestly 4 years of writing would be great too. That you still have to take those classes even as a science major. So 4 years of math, 4 years of writing. Try to take science classes about like AP Bio, AP Chemistry, things like that. What is the favorite thing about your school? Yeah, I'm glad someone asked this because I haven't touched on it too much, but I know I've said multiple times, we're a small school. So my favorite thing about being a UAS student was knowing my professors and having a really great community. It's a very welcoming school, very friendly. It's kind of one of those places where everyone knows each other and it's not very, everyone is supporting each other and everyone is helping each other. So it's very tight-knit, close community. So community is a big part of your life, or maybe you go to a big high school and that's like not your jam right now and you wished you went to a smaller school where you knew people or your professors knew who you were. That is very UAS. So I love that about UAS. And I love being on the lake. I love walking on the lake. I love running around the lake. So just the environment is very beautiful. Looking out and like seeing the mountains, like it's crazy. You guys should look at our pictures on our Instagram and just Google UAS. You'll see our classic UAS view with the mountains and the ice field. It's beautiful. School and program unique. What makes your school and program unique? I think we talked about that. So, I mean, college in a rainforest next to a glacier on a lake in Alaska, pretty unique. I think we've talked about that enough. What is campus life like? Yeah, we didn't talk about that too much. So we do have great student clubs. We have student activities like dances and comedy shows and things like that. So we have a student gym, which I didn't show, but that's where a lot of those take place. And intramurals, we don't have big school sports, but we do have intramurals just to play for fun. I actually go play volleyball on Wednesday nights with the students because it's just, why not? So campus life is pretty, like if you're looking for a campus life experience that you're kind of like picturing, like I want to go and like do things with my friends and I want campus events, UAS has that. And you can also join those student groups that put those on. So if you have great ideas, please join the student activities board because your ideas can totally change campus and totally make it really fun for everyone else. Does your school offer graduate level programming? We talked about this. No, it does not. If you want to be in Juneau and do graduate level coursework though, University of Alaska Fairbanks, and a lot of our students would go from our program to theirs, so it's good. What does your research entail? Ooh, there's a lot of research. I know that some of our professors are working on kelp studies or studying kelp. Some of them are doing shrimp. We have a crustacean lab. I know one of the professors is more interested in like crustaceans and like crabs. We have a whale lab. It's actually based in Sitka, but again, one of our professors is, her specialty is marine mammals. So that's where she does research. So I don't know if you guys know this, but Juneau has a crazy big tourist industry because we have humpback whales that come. Our whales, I mean, they live in California too, actually, don't they? But they come here in the summer. We have super rich water and that feeds all the little krill and things they need to eat. So that's why they come to Juneau to feed. And so we have a crazy big tourist industry. But during the pandemic, there were no cruise boats, there were no tours. So that professor actually studied, the whales during that time when there were no boats. And I've read a really interesting article. It was a really long article, so you guys could probably Google this, but it's Heidi Pearson. I can put that in the chat. Heidi Pearson. You look her up, humpback whale studies in the pandemic. She was studying how they talk to each other, with their whale sounds. And she was, I think if I remember the article right, she was saying that they talk differently, and they could go farther from each other because they could hear each other better. So like the mom whales and the calves were able to go a little bit farther from each other, and I just thought it was really interesting. Heidi Pearson. So, what is it like to research work in a college lab? I personally do not work in a research or work in a college lab, but I know multiple students that have. So again, you can email me and I can get you connected to a student who can tell you about their personal experience if that would be helpful. But as far as I know, I think the students really appreciate getting hands-on experience, because when you're applying to graduate school, and again, I was an English major, but I am going into graduate school. So it was really helpful to have something tangible to talk about on my grad school applications. So that is a big thing for them too. So when they're applying for future jobs, they can say, I already worked in a lab. I've already done this kind of sampling. I've already had this experience handling this type of animal. So that's, I think, probably the biggest, one of the best takeaways from it. So really, I've always heard really positive experiences. Transfer as a junior college. Do you have advice for someone who wants to transfer as a junior, like a junior in college, or maybe you're at a junior college? Either way, you can still apply for admission. I would say if you're at a junior college and you have your associates, that will make things a lot easier because you will have all your general education requirements considered done. So if you get that Associate of Science or get that Associate of Arts and then transfer, that will probably be an easier process than transferring before you have that associate's. That's just my guess. But we have transfer students all the time. You can definitely transfer to UAS. You can still apply for admission. It is not too late for any of that. I'm gonna look really quick here. I have more question and answer. Okay. Someone missed the start. UAS, how many students? Juneau, how many people? UAS, proximity to Juneau. Okay, great questions. UAS has 2,500 students, and that is spread over 3 campuses. So our campus here in Juneau, very small, probably 1,000-ish students, maybe more, maybe less. But the 2,500 encompasses our Juneau, Sitka, and Ketchikan campuses and our online students. So physically here in Juneau, not the full 2,500 that we're talking about. So very small program. I don't know if you heard me talk about why that's a good thing, but it is really advantageous for our students because they work directly with professors. They know their professor on a first name basis. They can be included in research. It's really good for them to be in those small classes. Our average class size is 10. Juneau, how many people? So Juneau has a population of around 30,000. That obviously goes up in the summer with, again, I just talked about tourism. We have a ton of tourists and tourist industry workers that come in the summer, but year round, probably around 30,000. And UAS's proximity to Juneau, UAS is in Juneau. So the city of Juneau, but the city part of it, city, if you're from California, you're gonna laugh at me. But the Juneau is long and skinny. It's in between the mountains and the ocean, and there's not a ton of road. It's small in that sense, but the land area is quite large. So Juneau is located in the Auk Bay part of Juneau. And then there's the downtown area where the cruise ships dock and some of those things are. And that is about 13 miles from one to the other. So 13 miles, 15-ish minute drive, maybe less than 15 minutes drive from campus to downtown. But the valley area in Juneau is also really accessible, and that's where like grocery stores are, and that's like 5 minutes away, 10 minutes if you're going to like Costco. But yeah, so UAS is in Juneau. Juneau's very long and spread out along the road, so I don't know if that helps. If you look at a map of Juneau, I think it'll make sense. Okay, let me see. I think that is all of the questions, which is good because I planned this to be, my presentation to be around 40 minutes. I think I maybe just finished a little early, or are we good?
No, yeah, you were perfect. I've never been to Alaska and I definitely want to go now.
Yeah.
That was a great presentation.
Yeah.
It seems like such an awesome school and a good area. And you know, I went to a big university and I could see the benefits of being at a small university, because I would say my teachers and professors did not really know me until I was a senior and I was in those small classes.
Yeah.
Everything else was big class area. So if you guys have more questions for Brittany, feel free to ask them through Wova. She can go in there and check and see if any questions come in later. But if not, we will wrap up and thank her. And, you know, I will see some of you guys attendees later on some other Zoom. So thank you everyone for coming. Thank you so much, Brittany. And thank you to our sponsors, the Surf Industry Members Association, as well as the Maritime College. So have a good rest of your day.
All right. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.